Hello Marius, thank you for the invitation.
It's a great pleasure that you came here to our office. What we want to talk about today is simulation and standardization, because this is what the S in ACS stands for the simulation, and the S in ASAM stands for the standardization. Okay, simulation, it's a big field. Let's try to narrow it down a little bit. What is simulation? What has it been in the past? What is it for you?
Yeah, simulation is like a glimpse into the future. So with simulation, it enables you to illustrate the future, to create virtual worlds, and to show how the elements in that world interact in a complex way.
To me, simulation is an approximation. So this means it's not the real thing, it's a virtual thing, but it tries to resemble reality. And if we look back in the past, medieval ages beyond, look at the first globes they built, the first maps they did. This is a simulated world, so you could see where your ship has to go from one continent to the other if it was already known. And yeah, so simulation is something where we explore the new and do it in a risk-free environment. Now we talk about the game changer simulation, because this is also part of what your initiative is promoting. But the question is, which game are we talking about? What has it already changed in the industry, in your association, and what will it change in the future?
Yeah, so simulation is a game changer because we use it everywhere. We can see the result of simulation on our daily work and daily life. But I think a lot of people and companies do not know what is the potential of simulation, and there's still a lot of potential we have to leverage, and therefore we have started with the initiative Game Changer Simulation, because we want to create more awareness of that technology, that more companies and more people are aware how they can use simulation, which benefits simulation can bring to industry and to our society. And yeah, therefore we created this discussion forum, we call it, yeah, where we bring together different stakeholders and discuss about the strategic role of simulation in development processes and also in the direction of politics and society. Collaboration between our two associations. So which benefits do you see for industry and for your association by collaborating between ACS and ASAM, and what's the value of your partner, so in this direction, the ACS?
So I think the value is that you are here today and that we can have this interview. This is a clear benefit we currently have. But overall, I think we are complementary, and this is the good thing. We are not trying to compete in terms of members or something. We have shared members or members who are members in both associations. And also because I think our members see the value of being part in both associations. What we do, we define standards for data exchange, data formats, APIs, protocols, things like this. And with the users, I think this is where your association comes into place. You create marketplaces, you create the forums to discuss about tools, etc., about the correct application of simulation in that part. Yeah. And simulation is a substantial part of our portfolio. But yeah, I think this is the complementary part. We define some stuff, you apply it, and we get the feedback if it doesn't work, and hopefully we get also the feedback when it works, because then the next standard will be released.
And a further perspective is also the research field, that also researchers are applying standards and try to get new solutions or develop new solutions and do some research and find areas or applications where future standardization is needed. And this is also the part of the game, yeah, how we can find new development environments, how standardization can help us, that we can collaborate within our company with different departments, but also across corporate boundaries.
Again, this is about this collaboration part, and most of you may know the Invited Academy. What role do you see for the ASAM standards in the Invited Academy, and how do you see that even ASAM people are participating there? Yeah. What's your typical audience in the Invited Academy?
Yeah. So we have participants from different stakeholders, automotive OEMs, suppliers, software vendors, research facilities. yeah, that's the result, that we have these multiple stakeholders, because it's a unique offer in the market. You get the full overview of this simulation or data-driven simulation process for ADAS and AD, because simulation is crucial for that topic, and standardization to the fact that this is a data-driven approach, yeah, and the product systems, the vehicles are getting more and more complex, and we have an increasing amount of software, which increases also the complexity of the systems. It's important to have common languages between the different development environments, and therefore standardization is, yeah, the basic understanding of how to share, how to interact with other partners within your company, within different application or use cases, and also across company boundaries. And therefore standardization plays a very important role. We have included this in different modules, in different lecture blocks like OpenDrive, Open Scenario, or ASAM OSI. So you will get an overview how the different techniques work and how you can also apply and use the standards in that context of data-driven simulation. And this brings us also to another topic which is also related to that data-driven approach, and that we have an increasing amount of data in that development field, is the topic of quality for simulation data. And therefore ASAM started the activity ASAM Quality Checker. So what does it want to achieve is the first question, and which role do both associations play in this context?
So just to put it very briefly, a standard, when it's written down on paper, is not always clear when it's being implemented. So this means some people may interpret parts of the standard differently than others do, and some may not implement the full standard. So this is what we usually see as an issue. And when you have data created on consumer side and producer side, and the consumer asks for a certain standard compliance of the data, the producer will be more than happy to say that their data is standard compliant. But to what level is not always revealed. And with the quality checker, which is based on an open source framework, we just try to address this problem and say, okay, each standard that we have at ASAM that basically fits into such a quality check provides their own rules, how you can check for the compliance with the standard, and then we implement the checker or the checkers for the standard. So this means if you have an OpenDrive file and you claim it's OpenDrive compliant, and you have the checker, it will really check whether it's OpenDrive compliant to the level where ASAM needs it to be compliant, just to be standard compliant. And this is all the way we go. And then your association comes in, because I think you are to a large extent closer to the actual applications, the use cases, like you said, the research facilities, etc., etc. And since the framework is open and open source, you can add additional checks there. But maybe you can explain it better than me.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, we are working on that concept of the invited marketplace. So we are creating a shared simulation data community, and therefore it's very important to have somehow a quality description of the assets you can provide as a technology provider through such a data market or data pool. And yeah, it's important because the end user want to know what is behind the data, and can I seamlessly integrate that data into my simulation framework, into the simulation pipeline? Can I use it over the development process? Traceability is also a very important topic, also in the direction of virtual certification in future. And therefore, these quality checks are very, very important, that such a data market approach can scale in future.
AI and simulation. What do we understand under this topic? Are we addressing it already in our activities?
Yeah, with artificial intelligence, you want to apply the human decision processes. So where do the humans interact with simulation? This is, for example, you can use artificial intelligence to create models, to speed up your simulations by reducing numerous or lengthy simulation runs. But you can also use it to produce training data for machine learning. So there are multiple potential applications in that field. We had also some research activities already done in that field. And we see there's a big potential in using artificial intelligence for speeding up development process processes, and maybe to find also new solutions for specific problems. But it's also the topic about the engineering knowledge base. So we produce a lot of result files with our simulation ones and the multiple simulation scenarios we prepare. But the information from out of this result is at the moment somehow limited. This is also limited to the fact that the human resources we spend in to get a deep dive into that data is limited, and therefore automative processes and artificial intelligence could leverage the potential in that data, and therefore we see a big potential for industry. And I think the combination of simulation and artificial intelligence, this will be a real game changer for the automotive industry. A very prominent topic at the moment in the automotive industry is the topic of software-defined vehicles, and this is our next question. What impact will the change of vehicle architectures have to your work?
Boldly said none, but let me explain it. It's not like it's not a hard none. So the thing is, basically, when we started, or when ASAM started 25 years ago, it was always addressing software issues in the vehicle, protocols, interfaces, data formats. So the vehicle and the development of the vehicle was always software-defined, software-centric. What we try to do with our technologies and with our data formats, etc., is basically to say we are agnostic of the actual architecture. Because what does the architecture do? The architecture distributes data producers, data consumers, where processing is done, things like this, where's the interface for over-the-air updates and things like this. What we are interested in is when data goes from one place to another one or is stored within a place. What's the format? What's the protocol? What's the API? This is what we are concerned with. So software-defined vehicle is an active topic for us. But I think it will not substantially change what we have to develop and how we have to develop, because it has been working like this in the 25 years. Any take from your side? How does it affect your association?
Yeah, for us it is an increasing domain because simulation is established in 13 years, but mainly coming from how to simulate the vehicle as a mechanical unit, and now it's transferring to a software-defined vehicle. So we have also to find simulation methods how to simulate software and also in the interaction with the hardware. So in future we will have totally new vehicle concepts, new automation levels, which also opens up new design freedoms, and therefore we have to find simulation solutions to capture simulation and hardware and how they influence each other.
Let's think beyond the vehicle. Mobility is a key issue. What role does this domain shift from the vehicle only to the mobility play for your organization?
Yeah, this very good fits to the last topic. As I said, we will see new forms of vehicles to the automation level. So there will be also a lot of new mobility units which will be automated, which will be connected, which should be collaborate, And this is the topic: how can the different mobility units can collaborate in future in intermodal mobility concepts? And therefore, we also have to use simulation to develop these different units, but also to develop and simulate mobility environments, mobility concepts, and we have therefore to include different stakeholders in the discussion. And this is, I think, also a task of our both associations to bring that stakeholders together and to give simulation a future. This is also part of our vision, that simulation is the key for future mobility, and simulation gives mobility a future, and therefore we have to bring together the different players and organize a dialogue and a community where they create new solutions for engineering.
Where will your organization be in 5 years? Maybe you start, I follow in 5 years.
As I said before, we go in the direction of mobility simulation. development of different mobility units. And I think in 5 years we will be the platform for every stakeholders who see the potential and want to use the potential of simulation in the development process. And therefore we invite all stakeholders who want to collaborate, who want to create new simulation environments and use these techniques. And I think this is also somehow the task of ASAM with standardization to go in that direction.
Yeah, well, as you know, mobility has made it into our vision. So accelerate engineering for mobility is the new vision of ASAM. 5 years is a long term in this industry. As we see currently, everything is disrupted. But if you see when people said automated driving would be available and 5 years later it still isn't, so it's a relative thing. I think we have a strong membership currently, mostly in the automotive space, but we have done projects also in railroad, in off-road, which means off-public road applications. And I see that this domain is growing and will hopefully bring us new members, new initiatives, and the standards that will help organize mobility in the future.
So what is our summary for the role of simulation for industry, society, and research?
It's key to progress. That's how I would say. It's there's nothing else to do. Well, you cannot test in a risk-free environment, in a fully risk-free environment, unless you employ simulation.
Yeah.
If you do a proving ground, that's fine, but it's not at zero risk. You cannot have all the flexibility, etc., etc. So simulation is a key thing. Standardization will always be part of describing artifacts that make it into the simulation, or that describe the environment where things need to be simulated. So I think for both of us, it's a good future.
Absolutely, yeah. And simulation is the key, and therefore we are looking forward to the future.
Perfect. So this is a joint effort, as we said, collaboration. And thank you very much to everyone. Stay tuned for the next sequel in this, whatever it may become. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.